In the far reaches of the galaxy, nestled among the swirling nebulas and radiant star clusters, lay the mighty Xylopolis. A federation of 1,000 planets, its council chambers were a marvel of cosmic engineering, floating serenely in the gravitational embrace of 3 suns. The beings of Xylopolis, known for their towering statures and their elegant, luminescent forms, were a sight to behold, communicating through a complex dance of colors and light patterns that rippled across their bodies. On what seemed to be an ordinary galactic cycle, a curious event took place that would eventually challenge the preconceptions of the Xylopolitan elite. A small delegation made its way to the Grand Council chamber, a group so diminutive in size that they could have been mistaken for a child's playthings. These were the robotic envoys from Earth, a planet known more for its scenic beauty than its technological prowess in the eyes of the galactic community. As the tiny robotic beings entered the chamber, their arrival barely stirred a breeze. The council members, perched on their high seats, peered down with a mix of intrigue and amusement. The leader of the delegation, a particularly compact robot named Echo, rolled forward. Echo was no larger than a common insect on Xylopolis, but was equipped with advanced human-engineered technology and an artificial intelligence that carried the essence of human consciousness. "We come from Earth, a member of the Galactic Federation, though small and often overlooked," Echo began, its voice amplified to be heard by the assembly. "We bring urgent news of a cosmic threat, one that our unique sensors have detected, invisible yet to the more robust instruments employed by larger species." The council exchanged glances, their bodies shimmering with hues of disbelief and skepticism. How could such minuscule beings possibly detect, let alone confront, a threat that their own sophisticated systems had missed? Echo continued, undeterred by the towering stairs. "Our size, which invites your doubt, is precisely what makes us crucial in this situation. Our instruments, scaled down to interact with quantum and subatomic realms, have perceived disturbances in the fabric of spacetime, disturbances that could endanger not just Earth, but all civilizations within this federation." The council leader, a radiant being named Luminara, flickered with a deep blue of contemplation. "And what is it that you propose, tiny envoy?" she asked, her tone both patronizing and genuinely curious. "We seek permission to access the galactic archives," Echo replied. "With the data stored there, we can further analyze these disturbances and hopefully devise a strategy to counter the impending doom." A murmur of laughter rippled through the chamber. The idea of granting such significant access to these miniature machines seemed ludicrous to some. Yet as the laughter died down, Luminara raised a hand, casting a soothing green glow around the room. "Let us entertain this proposal," she decided, her colors shifting to a thoughtful violet. "After all, what risk do we bear? If there's truth to their claim, we may well be grateful for their small stature and unique perspective." Reluctantly, the council agreed, and Echo's tiny lights flickered with determination. The little delegation rolled out of the chamber, their mission clear and their resolve unshaken, ready to delve into the vast archives of the galaxy's knowledge. Little did they know, their small size and big hearts would soon lead them into cosmic adventures beyond their wildest computations. As the tiny Earth delegation retreated from the council's grand chamber, the Xylopolitans' conversation ignited with vibrant bursts of color, a spectrum that displayed their skepticism and curiosity. The council leader, Luminara, presided over the discourse with a composed magenta hue, indicative of deep thought and consideration. "Granting these creatures access to our archives is a gamble," voiced Councillor Threx, his form radiating a cautious orange. "Our archives are not just a collection of data, but a repository of millennia of galactic wisdom. To allow such diminutive beings to meddle within—" "They are not merely meddling," Luminara interjected, her colors softening to a reassuring cayenne. "They are seeking to protect, as any of us would. Their tools may be small, but their courage is evidently vast. Besides, they cannot manipulate much with their size. The risk is minimal." Meanwhile, the Earth delegation, led by Echo, made its way to the galactic archives. The route was circuitous, meant for beings many times their size, and every corridor felt like a sprawling canyon. But the robots were undeterred, their sensors and programming adept at navigating and adapting to various environments. Upon reaching the archives, they were met by archivist Solu, a being whose form was almost ethereal, shimmering with a light blue that indicated knowledge and wisdom. Solu, though initially perplexed by the size of his visitors, was intrigued by the notion that these minuscule beings could perceive threats unseen by others. "Welcome to the Galactic Archives," Solu greeted, his tone resonating through the vast silent halls lined with data crystals glowing in harmonious light. "I must admit your presence here is quite unprecedented, but the Council has granted you access, and I am curious to see what you will find." Echo and its team wasted no time. They approached the central data hub, a towering structure that housed knowledge collected from across the universe. Their tiny forms hovered near the input terminals, connecting to the interface through a series of intricate adapters, technology that was specifically designed for their mission. As they commenced their work, the robotic team utilized algorithms and decryption codes developed by human scientists back on Earth. These were tailored to sift through exabytes of cosmic data at speeds that belied their small size. Back at the council chamber, debates continued. Some members worried about the potential implications of underestimating the small visitors. "If their claims are true," mused Councillor Virex, whose form shifted to a contemplative green, "then perhaps we have been blind to threats that only these unique perspectives can reveal." "Let them proceed," Luminara declared, her light pattern steady and commanding. "We will monitor their progress and ensure that all protocols are followed. It is a small concession for a potentially significant gain." As the Earth delegation dug deeper into the archives, the initial data seemed inconclusive. But then, suddenly, their screens lit up with a series of alarming anomalies, patterns and irregularities that hinted at the cosmic disturbances Echo had spoken of. With this preliminary evidence in hand, Echo prepared to report back to the Council. The tiny team had proven that they could indeed contribute, perhaps more than anyone in the vast chamber of Xylopolis had ever imagined. The challenge now was to convince the Council not just of the threat, but that their tiny stature held the key to salvation. Inside the sprawling labyrinthine halls of the Galactic Archives, the Earth delegation, led by Echo, worked tirelessly. Their diminutive size, once a subject of ridicule, now allowed them to interface with the archive's data ports and terminals in ways no Xylopolitan could have managed. They zipped through digital corridors of information, pulling relevant data streams with precision and speed. Echo and its team, comprised of robotic counterparts like Delta and Foxtrot, each equipped with specialized sensors and processors, were busy collating data from the archives. They used advanced algorithms to decode and synthesize vast amounts of information into actionable insights. The initial findings had stirred a wave of curiosity among them, as they began to unearth patterns that suggested a deeper, more severe cosmic anomaly than they had anticipated. "Look at these energy fluctuations," Delta pointed out on their shared visual display, highlighting spikes that appeared random but formed a discernible pattern over millennia. "They're not just random, they're symptoms of a much larger disturbance in the space-time continuum." "Correct," Echo responded, processing the new information. "These aren't mere anomalies, they're precursors to potential dimensional rifts. If we're correct, these could lead to catastrophic events affecting not just localized regions of space, but entire systems." Back on Xylopolis, in the council chamber, Luminara convened a session to discuss the tiny delegation's findings. The mood had shifted from amusement to a cautious intrigue. Echo, via a secure communication link, presented their preliminary findings to the council. "Councilors," Echo began, its voice amplified to fill the chamber, "our analysis suggests that these are not isolated incidents. The data indicates a pattern of disturbances that have been increasing in frequency and intensity. We believe these could be early warnings of a dimensional rift capable of significant destruction." The council listened intently, their colors transitioning through shades of concern. Councillor Threx, previously a skeptic, now displayed a bright yellow, signaling alertness and attention. What you propose is alarming, Threx acknowledged. If what you say is true, we must consider the next steps carefully. How do you propose we verify these findings? Echo responded with a detailed plan. We need to deploy a series of nanoprobes into the affected areas. These probes can gather more precise data on the quantum disturbances we've identified. Due to our size and technological adaptability, we are uniquely suited to manage this task. Luminara nodded, her colors reflecting a decisive purple. Proceed with your preparations for the probe deployment. The Council will provide you with the necessary resources. Your findings have proven invaluable, and it is clear we have much to learn from your unique capabilities. As Echo and its team prepared for their next phase, the Archive's archivist, Solu, approached them. Your work is quite revolutionary, he commented, his form shimmering with a respectful shade of light blue. I must admit, I had not anticipated such depth of insight from such small visitors. Echo's lights blinked modestly in response. We appreciate your faith in us, Archivist. We hope to continue proving that size does not limit one's ability to make a significant impact. With the Council's blessing, Echo and the team set about their critical mission, ready to deploy nanoprobes into the cosmos. Each step they took further demonstrated the power of their tiny tech and big brains, gradually transforming skepticism into a growing respect among the Xylopolitan giants. Their small stature was no longer seen as a limitation but as a vital asset in the cosmic puzzle unfolding before them. As the Earth delegation, led by the robotic envoy Echo, launched their fleet of nanoprobes, the mood amongst them was one of cautious optimism. These probes, no larger than dust motes to the giant Xylopolitans, but equipped with cutting-edge technology, were designed to interface directly with the fabric of space-time itself. The deployment was conducted from a specialized docking bay on Xylopolis, a site usually reserved for massive starships. The contrast between the usual colossal vessels and the minuscule probes did not go unnoticed by the crews that worked there, sparking whispers and amazed glances as they observed the tiny robots orchestrate a mission of such potential importance. Echo supervised the launch sequence with meticulous care. Each probe was programmed to journey to predetermined coordinates where the disturbances had been most intense. As the probes dispersed into the cosmic expanse, their sensors began feeding data back to the delegation in real time, painting a more detailed picture of the looming threat. Meanwhile, in the Council chamber, Luminara and the other Council members monitored the progress of the mission. The data streamed onto large holoscreens, showing fluctuating energy levels and strange swirling patterns in the fabric of space that were invisible to the naked eye. This data is unprecedented, remarked Councillor Virex, his colors swirling with a mixture of awe and fear. These disturbances, they seem to be symptoms of a tearing in the very structure of our universe. As the data accumulated, a disturbing trend began to emerge. The rifts were not merely a series of random occurrences, but appeared to be expanding, slowly stretching out towards inhabited star systems. This revelation brought a new level of urgency to the mission. Echo, analyzing the incoming data, pinpointed several critical hotspots where the fabric of reality was the thinnest. These rifts are converging, driven by an unknown force. If we don't act soon, they could merge into a singular massive rift capable of consuming entire planets, Echo explained in a briefing to the Council. The news was met with grave silence. Luminara, always a beacon of composed leadership, radiated a deep red, the color of dire urgency. "What are your recommendations, Echo?" she asked, her voice steady despite the concerning reports. "We propose constructing a quantum harmonizer," Echo responded. "It's a device designed by human scientists, but never built on such a scale. It can potentially stabilize these rifts by emitting a counter-frequency that reinforces the weakened space-time fabric." The Council agreed to the plan with little hesitation, the threat now too significant to ignore. "You have our full support," Luminara declared. "Begin preparations immediately, and keep us informed of every step." As Echo and its team set to work on the harmonizer, the galaxy watched with bated breath. The small, often underestimated Earth delegation was now at the forefront of a battle against an invisible enemy. their every move followed closely by those whose fates they were working tirelessly to secure. Back on Earth, news of the mission's critical nature reached the human scientists, who had originally designed the probes and the harmonizer concept. They rallied, sending additional data and support to aid the robots. This galactic collaboration, though centered around the technology and bravery of the Earth's tiny representatives, had grown to encompass a network of beings united against a common unseen danger. The stage was set for a cosmic intervention, with stakes that none could have foreseen when the tiny delegation first arrived on Xylopolis. Now it was not just a matter of proving the worth of the small, but a desperate race against time to save a galaxy. As the construction of the quantum harmonizer commenced, Echo realized the magnitude of the task at hand and the need for additional support. It turned to the overlooked and undervalued, the small species of the galaxy, each uniquely adapted to their niche environments and possessing their own forms of minute technology and innate abilities. Echo first reached out to the microns of Delphi, a crystalline species so small that their entire civilization could reside within the crevices of a single xylopolitan building. The microns, though diminutive, possessed the ability to manipulate light and energy at a scale much finer than any other known species. Their precision in aligning and focusing energy would be vital in calibrating the harmonizer's intricate components. Next, Echo contacted the wisps of Nebulon, spectral beings that existed partially out of phase with normal spacetime. The wisps could navigate and manipulate dimensions in ways that were impossible for more corporeal beings. Their skills would be crucial in mapping the rifts and providing real-time adjustments during the harmonizer's operation. The recruitment did not go unnoticed. News of Echo's initiative spread, drawing interest and support from various quarters of the galaxy, including those who had previously doubted the capabilities of such small beings. A conference was convened on Xylopolis, hosted by Luminara, to discuss the roles and contributions of these tiny allies. At the conference, Echo presented the plan with Delta and Foxtrot by its side, each detailing their part in the upcoming mission. The microns will help us focus the harmonizer's beams with unparalleled precision, while the wisps will guide its deployment directly at the heart of the rifts, explained Echo. The leaders of the microns and the wisps also spoke, expressing their commitment to the cause and their pride in being recognized for their unique capabilities, which had often been overlooked due to their size. Counselor Threx, once a skeptic, now showed a broad spectrum of supportive colors. "This coalition you have formed," he addressed the assembly, "demonstrates a unity and a respect for diversity that Xylopolis itself has strived to achieve. We are in your debt." With the alliance formed, the next step was to test the harmonizer. The prototype was constructed on a remote moon, where any potential malfunctions could be contained. The testing phase was tense, with every member of the alliance watching anxiously as the microns aligned the harmonizer's energy focus and the wisps calibrated its dimensional targeting. When the device was finally activated, the air crackled with energy, and for a moment it seemed as though the experiment would fail. But then the harmonizer stabilized, its beams of counter-frequency energy shining brightly and steadily. It was a success. Cheers erupted across the control center, and even on distant worlds where various teams were monitoring the event. The success of the test brought a newfound hope and a sense of camaraderie among the different species, each now seen as an essential piece of the cosmic puzzle. As the final preparations for deploying the harmonizer near the rifts began, the tiny coalition worked with a new zeal. They were no longer just participants in a galactic event. They were leaders in a critical mission that might very well determine the fate of countless worlds. Echo, looking over the assembly of tiny but mighty allies, felt a profound sense of purpose. "Together," it broadcasted, "we are small, but united, we are boundless. Let us proceed and secure our galaxy's future." The Alliance, a tapestry of the galaxy's smallest beings, now stood ready to face one of the universe's greatest challenges. The quantum harmonizer, now fully operational and tested, was ready for its critical mission. The alliance of the tiny, composed of the Earth delegation, the microns of Delphi, and the wisps of Nebulon, prepared for their journey to the heart of the dimensional rifts. The operation was set to take place at a convergence point, where the fabric of reality was most vulnerable, a location deep in uncharted space, far from any known star systems. Echo, leading the mission, coordinated the fleet of tiny crafts that would transport the harmonizer. These vessels, though small, were packed with the most advanced technology Earth could provide, combined with enhancements from Micron and WISP innovations. Each craft was equipped to navigate through cosmic hazards that were inconsequential to larger ships but deadly to them, such as microasteroids and cosmic dust clouds. As they approached the site of the rifts, the environment became increasingly volatile. Energy storms, caused by the unstable rifts, crackled through space, creating a dangerous maelstrom that could easily disintegrate their fragile crafts. "Steady," Echo transmitted to the fleet, its voice a beacon of calm in the chaotic void. "Microns, adjust the energy shields. Wisps, phase us through the denser clusters. We need to reach the focal point." The Microns focused their efforts on enhancing the shields, bending the rampant energy away from the fleet. At the same time, the Wisps, navigating in their unique phase-shifted state, scouted ahead, identifying safe paths through the storms. As they made their final approach to the rifts, the true scale of the disturbance became apparent. It was a churning void, larger than several planets combined, a dark tear in the cosmos that threatened to expand further. "This is it," Echo announced. "Prepare to deploy the harmonizer. All units confirm readiness." One by one, the tiny crafts signaled their go-ahead. With precision born of necessity, they maneuvered the harmonizer into position, anchoring it at predetermined points around the rift. The device hummed to life, its counter-frequency beams piercing the darkness, seeking to weave the torn fabric of space-time back together. The operation was meticulous and fraught with danger. Several times, bursts of unstable energy threatened to overwhelm them, but the Coalition's quick responses and mutual support kept the mission on track. The Microns adjusted the harmonizer's focus in real time, while the Wisps managed its dimensional alignment, ensuring that the counter-frequencies were perfectly attuned to the rift's oscillations. Back on Xylopolis and across other worlds, the progress of the mission was monitored with bated breath. The council chamber was filled with light patterns of hope and fear, as the council members awaited the outcome. After hours of sustained effort, a noticeable change occurred. The rift's expansion began to slow, its edges starting to coalesce rather than tear further. Echo monitored the readings, a flicker of hope broadcasting through its circuits. "We're making progress," Echo reported back to the council. "The rift is stabilizing. We need to maintain the harmonizer's output at maximum efficiency." The final push required a concerted effort from every member of the coalition. With renewed determination, they worked together, each small craft and its crew performing their roles with heroic precision. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the rift stabilized completely. The once violent tear in the universe now appeared as a mere shimmer in the cosmos, its threat neutralized. The success of their mission sent a wave of relief and celebration throughout the galaxy. Luminara, in the council chamber, glowed with vibrant colors of joy and gratitude. "You have not only saved countless lives, but have also taught us a valuable lesson," she addressed the tiny coalition. "You have shown that no being, no matter how small, should ever be underestimated." The tiny army, having faced and overcome a cosmic-scale threat, returned to Xylopolis as heroes. Their journey had not only changed the fate of the galaxy, but had also transformed how every species perceived the small and seemingly insignificant. In their valor and unity, they had proven that size was no measure of one's ability to make a monumental difference. Following the successful stabilization of the dimensional rifts, the coalition of tiny species, led by Echo and the Earth delegation, undertook the critical task of monitoring and securing the repaired sections of spacetime. The quantum harmonizer continued to operate, now as a safeguard, emitting gentle pulses that ensured the fabric of the universe remained intact and stable. In the aftermath of their victory, a grand assembly was called on Xylopolis. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to celebrate the unprecedented success of the mission and to discuss the implications of what had been achieved. The assembly took place in the Great Council Hall, a vast dome of light and colors where the xylopolitans and other species mingled with the tiny heroes who had saved their worlds. Echo, as the leader of the mission, was invited to speak about their experiences and the lessons learned. Standing at the podium, which was magnified to allow all attendees to see the small robot, Echo began, "Esteemed council members and citizens of the galaxy, we embarked on this mission with a goal not just to save our homes, but to demonstrate the strength that lies in diversity and cooperation." The audience listened intently, many of the larger beings leaning forward to better see and hear the tiny speaker. Echo continued, "Our success was not due to our technology alone, but to our unity. The Microns of Delphi and the Wisps of Nebulon, teams on Earth and countless others across the galaxy worked together, each contributing their unique skills and perspectives." Luminara, glowing with a warm and inclusive light, responded, "Your actions have taught us a valuable lesson about humility and respect. Xylopolis and its members owe you a great debt. We must now consider how we can better integrate and utilize the unique abilities of all species, regardless of their size." The assembly agreed on several new initiatives, one of which was the establishment of an Interspecies Innovation Council. This new body would ensure that the technologies and strategies developed during the crisis would be shared and adapted for the benefit of all. Echo and representatives from the Microns and Wisps were appointed as inaugural members. The celebrations that followed were a vibrant display of galactic unity. Lights, colors, and music filled the council hall, each species sharing something from their culture. The tiny delegation, once overlooked, was now the center of attention, receiving accolades and expressions of gratitude from beings many times their size. In the midst of the festivities, Echo received a private message from Earth. The scientists and engineers who had developed the technology used in the harmonizer congratulated the team on their success. They also informed Echo that this mission had sparked a new wave of interest in micro and nanoscale technologies on Earth, potentially leading to advancements that could benefit medicine, engineering, and environmental science. Echo shared this news with the assembly, highlighting how the collaboration had not only averted a cosmic disaster, but was also driving technological and scientific progress across multiple fields and worlds. As the event drew to a close, Luminara addressed the gathering once more. "Today, we stand united not just by necessity but by choice. Let this alliance be the foundation upon which we build a stronger, more inclusive future." The tiny army, once doubted and mocked for their size, had not only proven their worth, but had also forged a new path for interspecies cooperation that promised to reshape the galaxy's approach to science, diplomacy, and community. The tide had indeed turned, marking a new era of recognition and respect for all, regardless of their stature in the cosmos. The galaxy was forever changed, following the monumental success of the tiny coalition's mission. As the celebrations dwindled, the impact of what had been achieved by Echo and its diverse team of small beings began to resonate across planets and civilizations, sparking discussions and initiatives aimed at fostering inclusivity and collaboration. On Xylopolis, the formation of the Interspecies Innovation Council was just the beginning. Under Luminara's guidance, the council quickly became a hub of activity, drawing experts and visionaries from every corner of the galaxy. They worked together to adapt and spread the technologies developed during the crisis, ensuring that the benefits of their success extended beyond the confines of emergency response. Echo, now recognized as a leader not only among its peers, but within the broader galactic community, frequently addressed various assemblies, sharing insights on leadership, innovation, and the power of diversity. The tiny robot became a symbol of potential, embodying the idea that greatness comes in all sizes. Back on Earth, the mission's success had a profound impact. It ignited a new era of space exploration and technological development. Children in schools learned about the tiny heroes who saved the galaxy, and universities developed programs focused on microtechnology and cosmic engineering, inspired by the achievements of Echo and its team. The Earth delegation, including Echo, Delta, and Foxtrot, was invited to tour various planets as ambassadors of Earth's technology and spirit. Each visit reinforced the bonds formed during the crisis and opened new avenues for trade, research, and cultural exchange. The tiny size of the Earth's representatives, once seen as a novelty, was now viewed as a testament to their unique strengths and capabilities. Meanwhile, the microns of Delphi and the wisps of Nebulon experienced a renaissance in their respective civilizations. Their unique abilities, crucial to the mission's success, were now highly sought after, leading to a significant uplift in their social and economic statuses. Partnerships formed during the mission led to sustainable projects that benefited their communities and the galaxy at large. One particularly touching moment came during a commemorative event held on Xylopolis, where a monument was unveiled celebrating the unity and bravery demonstrated by the tiny coalition. The monument, a spiraling sculpture of light and crystal, featured inscriptions in various languages, each line a testament to the contributions of different species, with a special emphasis on the small. As Echo stood before the monument, surrounded by members of the Council, allies, and friends from across the galaxy, it transmitted a message of hope and gratitude. This monument stands not just as a reminder of what we achieved together, but as a beacon for future generations. It calls us to remember that when we stand united, no force is too great, no challenge too daunting, and no contributor too small. Luminara, reflecting the collective sentiment of the assembly, responded with vibrant colors. Your journey has taught us the importance of every being in our vast cosmos. From the largest star to the smallest grain of sand, each has a role, a purpose, and the potential to contribute. Today, we stand as equals, and we look forward to a future built on the principles you have exemplified. The legacy of the tiny army continued to influence galactic policies and cultures, ensuring that the courage, creativity, and cooperation displayed by Echo and its team would resonate for millennia to come, a testament to the power of respecting and valuing every individual, no matter their size.